Had 21 points in that second half against Texas coming off the bench.
Bama's won 5 straight, second longest active winning streak in the SEC. Trailing only the Florida Gators. The opening tip controlled by the Tigers of LSU underway in Baton Rouge. Jalen Reese playing better ball. Nwoko inside, powers his way to the rack and off the mark. Question I have for you, Coach, too. How will Alabama respond off that double overtime win at home? As you take a look at the starting 5. Nate Oates has challenged his team defensively. He's challenged his backcourt as it pertains to rebounds. Will it make an impact? Jalen Reese, early bucket for LSU.
You know, Roy, you talk about trap games. When you come off a game with that kind of emotion that you were able to come out with the win with, you want to try to improve in some of those areas that the coaches challenge you. I know for Alabama, Nate Oates wants his team to play a little bit better defensively, and you're going to have that as you get into postseason play.
Hayden Holloway, the lob, and corralled by Sherrell. Stolen by Reese. Starting 5 for the Tigers coming in at 14 and 12, 2 and 11 in the SEC. Ravaged by injuries. No DJ Thomas rest of the year. No Jalen Reed for the rest of the season. Holloway finds a way.
No, Roy, the one thing that LSU can't get caught up in up the tempo. They've got to control the tempo of this game, but they can't have live ball turnovers. Reese has done a great job taking care of the basketball, and even in the last ball game, LSU did a great job in the second half and not turning the ball over against Texas.
Yeah, they were talking about it in studio with Alyssa, the great Ron Slay, and Damian Fishback. McKinnon back iron, and Tamba taps it right to Amari Allen. Coach, I will tell you, I think LeBaron Philon looked a little different defensively to start. He's been challenged by his head coach and was right on top of Jalen Reese those first couple of possessions. Not this time. Helter-skelter start for both sides. Allen and Jemison inside with the easy dunk.
You know, Roy, you don't want to get caught up in a pickup game with Alabama. You want to try to, again, if you're LSU, you want some paint touches. Get that ball inside to Nwoko. He's one of the top interior scorers in all of college basketball, but establish the tempo that you want. You can't go up and down with these guys and try to outscore Alabama.
Reese to McKinnon baseline, and the floater is short. He's 0 for his first 2. Alabama back in the top 25, 19 wins now, 9 and 4 in the league, and Philon imposing his will on this LSU defense.
Alabama get the turnover in transition. You see Holloway here finishing in transition here, offer you a turnover, scoring some offense.
Coach, that was 1 on 3. He spun it home.
Another McDonald All-American, again, a guy who can score that basketball at a high clip as well. Philon did a great job attacking that drop coverage right there. He's a guy that can get in there and he can probe a little bit, and again, drew a foul, got a chance to get to the foul line.
Third leading scorer in the SEC, LeBaron Philon. After the foul was called on Tamba. Nate Oates. Hard to believe it's year number 7, 2 years removed from that run to the Final Four. We talked to him today. He's in great spirits. And why wouldn't he be with this recent run, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got his ball club playing at a very high level right now, especially on the offensive end. I think the one thing he's trying to challenge his guys is on the defensive end is to be better defensively, ball pressure, have each other's back.
I don't think that's easy to do into February, back into conference play. You're trying to implore your guys, all right, let's ratchet up our defense a couple of notches. He's got the talent to do it, just hard to do given the magnitude and the length of the season.
No, absolutely. And again, you know, you're going to not be able to outscore guys when you come postseason time. You're going to be able to get some meaningful stops as well.
Martell Sutton, a patient finish. And the former Summit League Player of the Year, the transfer from Omaha. His last couple of games has been on point. His last 3 averaging more than 18 per. Jemison tied with a 2-point advantage early in Baton Rouge. Off the cut. Cole Bowen collects and gets rejected. Robert Miller.
Going to give him some good rim protection. It's what he does when he comes in the ball game.
And a shove, an offensive foul. Holloway hit the deck hard as Tamba came barreling through. And Miller's going to pick up the foul.
Sometimes you see here you got to wait a little bit. That can be on Max a little bit. McKenna needs to wait a little bit. Let Miller get set a little bit there, and then come down lower than that ball screen. You don't pick up that offensive foul.
A little hip check on the shove. Tigers coming off a 3-point loss against Texas. Very competitive. Open three, no, and Miller foul from behind by Taylor Bowen. In terms of pace of play tonight, Coach, get the sense that Matt McMahon would want to slow this thing down as opposed to getting to a track meet with a team, the depth and the ability to score the basketball that Alabama has.
You want to try to grind them up a little bit. You don't want these guys getting up and down the floor a little bit. Again, with the paint touches, putting the ball in the paint, maybe to the inside player there, maybe getting the paint touch inside out three. But getting shots on your terms allows you to have great floor balance in transition, and it also allows you to try to control the tempo as well.
Alabama wants to be positioned. Chance for that double bye in the upcoming SEC tournament in Nashville. That's going to be here before you know it. Tigers back to work. McKinnon, sweet bounce pass inside. And Tomba off the mark. He'll track it down and save the possession. Markel Sutton banged hard, set to shoot two when we come back.
Yeah, Sutton here doing
Expanding bubble as we get closer to March. And speaking of March, as Sutton will shoot two, we're talking about the month beginning a week from tomorrow. Welcome to the madness officially here as down the stretch we come in the regular season of the SEC.
Roy, as you get into February goes so fast. It's separation month at the end of the month. Teams that have, established themselves, they've gotten better as the season going along, and now they're getting separation away from the pack.
Tied at 6. Here's Philon. Poked away by Miller. Good hustle, great effort, and a turnover. Philon slow to get up. He appears to be okay. Miller is two, and there's the corner three. Now Markel Sutton starting to heat up.
Big play by Robert Miller. They're selling out, getting a little taste of that floor. Those 50-50 balls are really, really important for LSU at home here. Coming up with these 50-50 balls. Great job, Robert Miller, getting out there and really contesting Philon there, but beating him to the floor. First to the floor, a lot of times always wins that contest. And then you turn it into offense with Sutton on the other end. Markel's been playing terrific over the last couple ball games.
Miller being tended to on the LSU bench, was grabbing his head for a moment and appears to be okay. Meanwhile, Sutton with 7. LSU's first 9 points tonight. Holloway, sweet dish, Bowen. That's a corner three. Taylor Bowen played 10 minutes against Arkansas on that double overtime win. Recorded a rebound. He has not been 100%. Good sign for the Tide on the road. That early triple. Reese to Nwoko. Size advantage. He'll send it outside. And off of Bowen out of bounds.
Boy, getting a chance to put that ball inside allows you to get a great look for Markel from the three there. But again, it allows you to control tempo as well, putting that ball inside to Nwoko. I like that last action right there with LSU.
Feels like, Coach, the mentality for Matt McMahon tonight. We have a good shot in the first 6 to 8 seconds offensively. Let's go ahead and take it. If not, it may be in our best interest to not go lightning quick, given the magnitude that Alabama and the force that they play with on the other end.
Absolutely. Put the onus on Alabama to have to guard in the half court. Don't let them off the hook where they can get in transition, where they really excel at a high level.
Last three for Sutton. He's picked up right where he left off in that loss to Texas. Already with 7, averaging 18 per game in his last 3. And Arkansas currently trying to hold on against Missouri. McKinnon, no. Nwoko gets it back again. A lot of contact, no whistle. Ripped away by Holloway.
Big fella, great job attacking the glass with two hands. Can't bring that ball down. You bring that ball down, you're subject to have happen what happened in the paint there.
Shot King on the floor for the first time for LSU. Veteran officiating crew today with Pat Adams, Alandis Poole, Garrett Shannon. And the mid-range is there. You don't see a lot of that from the Tide. Latrell Wrightsell.
You don't see a lot of that at all, Roy. I mean, shoot 36 threes a game, you know. That's an unknown commodity shooting the twos there.
Nate Oates, it's threes right at the rim. Wash, rinse, repeat. Sutton off the mark, Sherrell clears.
Like the paint touch again by LSU, just get into the teeth of the defense. I think, again, an opportunity for them to exploit Alabama is inside.
Holloway against King, forced it up, drew the contact. First on Rashad King, 2 free throws for Aiden Holloway, 84% free throw shooter this season. Matt McMahon's just trying to get a team to stay healthy. Nate Oates has been fighting that same problem this year. You take a look at the fact they've had more than 12 different starting lineups this season. It's the most lineup combos that Alabama has employed under Nate Oates. One more for Holloway.
You know, Ro, when you go through a season where you have the injuries, it's so important. Early in non-conference is really important if you try to establish and develop some depth. So you never know what's going to happen throughout the course of the season. The season's a marathon. So you got to try to develop some depth in non-conference. So if things like this happens in conference play, you got some guys that have a little bit of experience.
Tide lead it by 4. The other thing that shows you is Alabama and what it was in non-conference play, what it was a month ago. Go back to the loss against Tennessee. They're a different team now. More confidence. McKinnon connects. Lead is down to 2, but now that you start to gain a little bit of help, get Taylor Bowen going a little bit, maybe that'll change some things in the mind of the committee coming up on Selection Sunday. They got a chance to really enhance their resume and get closer to full strength. Wrightsell, no. Nwoko rips away the rebound. Lobbed ahead to Sutton. Poked out by Wrightsell Jr.
That's a great look by Reese up the floor. You know, if you can beat Alabama up the floor and get something in transition, reward the big fella for running the floor. Sutton was doing a great job running the floor.
Reese has become more aggressive, according to his head coach. Of course, the injury to DJ Thomas really set this team back. Starting point guard coming in from UNLV, leading scorer before he finally was put on the shelf for the rest of the year several weeks back. And Reese has had to step up his play in a significant manner. To Sutton over the back. Here's Jemison. That's his first.
I think as much as, you know, getting that ball into the paint allows them to control the tempo. It's really important. Again, I think LSU attacks inside out against this Alabama team and then crash the glass really hard.
Pace so far with LSU a slight edge at home. King saves it. Tigers have been close in a number of games. Go back to the home loss against Kentucky. Moreno shot at the buzzer on the full court pass. And King, heavy contact. He's going to shoot too. Don't forget, our SEC Network Tuesday night men's basketball doubleheader. Otega-Oweh, Kentucky square off against Meechie Johnson in South Carolina. Live from Colonial Life Arena, 7 o'clock Eastern. Then Tennessee heads to Como to battle the Missouri Tigers. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern Tuesday here on SEC Network, also on the ESPN app. I told you earlier, Tennessee a big road win at Vanderbilt. That game ending not too long ago, 69-65. Think about Nate Amen. He's starting to figure things out. Many people are projecting him now as a lottery pick coach, and he certainly has that baseline and talent to get it done.
Well, Coach Barnes has done a great job of bringing him along all season long. I mean, Nate's a kid who's an extremely hard worker, a great kid, and he's really pushed him to play his best basketball at this time of year right now.
13-12. Both of these teams kind of feeling each other out to start. Holloway, statistically the best three-point shooter in the SEC. Logo three, in and out.
Rich got lucky on that one a little bit that time. You can't go under on Holloway. You know, they talked about it in their shoot-around today. You can't go under on these guards and not stay closely attached to these Alabama guards.
Miller back on the floor. Kept the pivot foot. Now it's King over Williamson, no good. And Holloway bumped by King. The Alabama basketball win. We come back in the Tide, a 1-point lead in Baton Rouge. Of our score here at Pete Maravich Assembly Center. Crimson Tide just won for their first 6 from downtown. Philon at 35 points, a career high performance against Arkansas. Yet to attempt a field goal. First 8 minutes tonight. And right on cue, off the mark from distance. Coach, I don't care who you are and how you do it. You come off a double overtime win that people were calling the game of the year in college basketball. Mentally, there's going to be some hurdles to climb and to figure out the next time out against a team you're expected to beat, what we're seeing so far against LSU.
Yeah, you know, you can't have a letdown. You have to continue to, again, you only have that game with you for one night. Whether you win or lose, you got to be on to the next one.
Tigers back in front. Tamba the basket. Here's Holloway. More games coming up in the SEC later tonight. We talked about the defense. What would that look like tonight? Nate Oates wants his club to be better defending the perimeter. And you're coming off that double overtime win. Philon went off, and Acup really put up 50. Hot shooting in the second half. I wonder that the dead legs kind of carry over to start here tonight. And a 5-second violation on the attempted inbounds from Allen.
You know, Roy, the recovery piece is always huge. And I know, again, Nate Oates has probably the best in regards to trainers and knowing what you have to do in terms of the hydration piece and trying to recover from a ball game like that with a quick turnaround for your next ball game. But LSU's come out here tonight with incredible energy on the defensive end. They're playing with a lot of urgency, closing out to these shooters, and really doing a great job defensively.
McKinnon the floater. Holloway a rebound. Ahead to Allen. On the move with the lob. And Sherrill sent it out of bounds. It was last touched by LSU. Well, the one thing about Matt McMahon's team, and we talked about this with him today too, the energy is good. There's a positive vibe at shoot-around. Players aren't looking like or acting like, talking like a 2-11 team in the league.
Well, that all starts at the top. If your coach comes in every day with the same mindset, whether you're winning or whether you're losing, he's not too high, he's not too low, your team's going to feed off of that. They're going to feed off whatever you bring into the building every single day.
Philon the hesitation. McKinnon took one in the chops. And Philon off the mark. That's going to leave a mark tomorrow.
Really good defense right there. Again, LSU's playing really hard.
Jalen Reese with a mid-range and the lead at 3. Reese averaging a shade under 5 points per game, nearly 3 dimes. Those totals expanding now that he's taken over that starting point guard position. Holloway, and Sherrill was hacked. And that's on the way to the rim. So Tamba picks up his second, and Sherrill's going to shoot 2.
You got Holloway here doing a great job probing. Gives inside presence right there for Sherrill to be able to be on the inside for an offensive rebound and an opportunity to go to the foul line.
Sherrell's battled his fair share of injuries this season. All net with the first free throw and a silky smooth delivery. 26-13 against the Razorbacks. We mentioned this. We talked about it, I think, at shoot around. That number 22, his upper body size and strength. I mean, he makes the numbers on the jersey appear small, Coach. That's a good thing if you're a fan of the Tide.
Well, in year two, I mean, just having a chance to continue to grow and develop. I mean, he's talking about a youngster again that was a McDonald All-American coming out of high school, played on a really good team last year that was older. Now he's getting a chance to be an impact guy this season for the Tide.
Yeah, he was a big-time boost off the bench a year ago. You know, it's needed him. Crimson Tide back within a point. Set the screen for Reese. A little high-low. Sutton collects and rejected by Bowen. They're going to count the basket. He was right there at the rim.
Here's a great high-low look from Robert Miller looking inside from Markell there. It's going to be close there. Not going to challenge it. I think you're good.
Pat Adams asking us if he got it right. I don't know.
I'm going to go with Pat, you know, on that one. I think that was a close call, but again, I think it's the right call right now at the moment.
Of course, you have the ability to challenge. It did not occur. With the goaltending, you count the bucket. And Sutton now already with 9 points. Allen from downtown. Well, that's a tough shot.
You got to close out with that hand. Again, these guys shoot 36 threes a game, so your hand can't be down. You're going to have to take that airspace away. And, you know, Allen's shown that he can make threes over the course of this season. So you're going to have to, again, be a little closer in terms of your contest.
Second triple made by the Crimson Tide. Shot clock down to 5. King! That's a 3.
Little inside-out action. King stepping up, making a 3. Great block by Miller. Great rim protection. Miller brings that to the table when he's on the floor.
Sent that into the second row.
Big Miller in there protecting. He's a big-time shot blocker. Great rim protection there on a really terrific offensive player.
LSU with a 3-point lead. File on a couple of free throws. An open look. And Miller collects the board.
Got lucky on that one again right now. You can't get fouled on those kind of looks right there. Reese ran into the screen there. You got to chase that guy off that screen, and you got to be there on the catch. You can't give him that kind of look.
Interesting start in Baton Rouge. Tigers by 3 with possession. Reese kicked his leg like he was expecting perhaps a whistle and some contact. Didn't get it. Phylon, Sherrell, that's a 3.
All set up by Phylon, getting into the teeth of the defense. Good jump stop. Great court awareness, finding Sherrell for open 3.
30% three-point shooter this season. That shot looks smooth. Tied at 21.
Got to get a better shot down this time. I mean, I thought the one no-pass 3, you can't do that against Alabama. You got to get that ball, play inside out.
Here's P.J. Carter. Take the shot. Phylon surveys. It's the second gear. Now Sherrell on the move. Bumps. And before the shot, the foul. Sherrell appears to be all right. LeBaron Phylon, we know him as a scorer. Also a distributor, Coach.
Great job. Good job.
13 minutes and change in. Rodney Terry, Roy Philpott. Can't wait for the halftime report. I need more Damian Fish back in my life with that suit. Fish, I need the number for the tailor. Like, tell me where I get a suit like that And then also I'll pose the question, can I pull it off on television? The answer is no, only he can do that.
Only Fish can pull that off with the pink jacket today.
Millette pulls off the 3. He was 2 for his last 13 from downtown before hitting those 2 huge threes. First in OT, the second in double OT on Wednesday night against Arkansas. And that shot looked pretty good to start here tonight too.
You know, Roy, this is a game where LSU has a chance to get some second chance points getting on the glass. A good shot, great effort right there by Nwoko getting on the floor. But second chance opportunity is something that they should be taking advantage of.
Yeah, Millette, I mean, look, in a game that went back and forth that had so many different swings and momentum, Millette with these 2 huge three-pointers. First one in the first OT and the second one essentially put the game on ice despite Darius Acup in the 49. That had the tide roaring at Coleman Coliseum.
Millette's one of those guys, again, you know, over a 1,500-point scorer, you know, coming out of Pepperdine. I mean, he's a guy that can really shoot the basketball at a very high clip. So, you know, gives him a lot of depth, and another guy that can really shoot it.
And that would be an understatement. His 35% three-point percentage doesn't tell the story. McKinnon splashes home the 3.
Right on cue. Going to need a lot of offensive punch today by McKinnon.
Outstanding shooter in his own right from Australia. Lower body contact on Reitzel. First on McKinnon. He's had some moments this year too. We talked about the 27 at Texas, 20 points against Missouri, averaging 15 per game. It's come in bursts, I feel like, Coach. It
has, you know, and he's a guy that, you know, he can make threes, but he can also go off the bounce a little bit too as well. So, you know, he can score in a variety of ways. And he's a really good passer. He's a guy that has great assists as well. You see him coming off here, has his feet set, ready to shoot the basketball, but can hurt you in a variety of ways on the offensive end of the floor.
Bam in the bonus, rest of this first half, under 6 to go. Reitzel, a couple of free throws. There's McKinnon with some newfound confidence. Open look for Carter. Here comes LSU starting to heat up.
Carter can bring that to the table. He's a guy that can make threes. He had a great spurt over a couple games. Really shooting the ball well for LSU.
Spread, spurt, no matter how you slice it. Millette, 2 for his first 2. So one thing we've seen in this league this year, when there are teams like Alabama go on these monster runs, put up a huge number of points in a short period of time, and yet they can also be tested by any team in the conference. A league where there's no easy outs, and that's been talked about a lot. It's not a new concept. Holloway finds a way again with a floater, drifting to his left in traffic.
You don't want to trade baskets with Alabama or get up and down with Alabama in this way here. You want to try to get back to that tempo you had earlier, working that ball inside, paint touches.
McKinnon open. And sent out of bounds. It'll stay with LSU. I mean, Holloway, you know that he can shoot the 3. But we've seen a couple of drives tonight, Coach, where he's got defenders draped all around him, all over him, going one direction, shooting back against his body the other way. It's an impossible shot.
Holloway's a proven scorer, you know. He's a proven scorer at the prep level. He's a McDonald All-American, one of 3 guys on the Alabama roster that's a McDonald All-American, but has always shown he can score the basketball at a very, very high clip.
Nwoko bullied his way inside and is off the mark. Jemison back on the floor. He'll get it from Holloway. Beautifully executed give and go. Tied now, leading by 6. Largest advantage of the game.
Try to work that ball inside a little bit, see if you can't get something with Nwoko closer to the basket there.
And Nwoko didn't turn around. The pass was Aaron Fabrice, and he makes up for it with a steal. It's like a strong safety. Sutton, no. Nwoko, yes.
Boy, you don't have much time to celebrate. Alabama puts it right back on top of you. Your transition defense, your first 3 steps, you got to be sprinting back.
Holloway, the Euro. Holloway gets it to go again. A little razzle-dazzle at the rack.
Dynamic score. You talk about he and foul line. These guys are, you know, their backcourt as good as any backcourt in the country.
I mean, that was a Euro with the spin off the glass, beating 2 defenders in the process. Carter, second 3 for number 7. Tide started 1 for their first 7 from downtown. They've connected on 4 of their last 5. Holloway, the only thing he hasn't made in our first half tonight.
Holloway with the inside out here. Like the matchup he has. Little dipsy doodle.
They've yet to lose in the month of February, Fish. So that tells you a lot. But if you're going to give me the field, how important is it for Todd Golden to win the SEC Tournament Championship this year? I'm just asking the question. I don't know the answer. I know they want to win it, but I also know that they're thinking about what's to come afterwards. So if you're going to give me the field, I'm going to think about the field. Who's to say Alabama couldn't run with Florida for 40 minutes in Nashville, win a championship?
I think I've said for a few weeks, I think Florida, again, in the SEC has the highest ceiling to be able to do well in postseason play. They've got, you know, the guard play's improving. They've got one of the best front lines in all of college basketball. They've got a pro in Hall on the wing. I mean, they have it all.
You know they want to win the SEC tournament, but that's a team that has positioned itself very well for what's to come afterwards. Madness arrives after Selection Sunday. There's something, too, about tournament play, Coach, and you can speak to this. The team that is more desperate, that has to win, that has to catch fire. McKinnon. And now Sutton was stripped. The steal by Philon.
You know, I'm going to also say, Roy, with tournament play, I mean, you can't talk about any more experience than when Florida got last year cutting the nets down. I mean, you know, Coach Golden got a chance to get those guys all the way to the Final Four, so they know what winning basketball is in tournament time. So, you know, again, there'll be a team that'll be a hard out, you know, come postseason play because of that.
And the backcourt has gotten better and more consistent with what you're looking at with Xavier Lee, Boogie Flan, and Urban Klobuchar, who I think, and he's turned out to be one of the top 6 men in the conference this year.
Well, if that backcourt's playing elite, they have a chance to cut the nets down again back-to-back. You know, so again, they've gone through it. That front court's been through it. They've cut the nets down. They know what that's all about. So I think a golden opportunity.
Gators have gone back-to-back before. Allen gets one more free throw. Women's basketball takes over the SEC network every Sunday. 3-packet games tomorrow. Also on the ESPN app, Bama at Florida, Mississippi State at 4th-ranked Texas at Moody. Madison Booker leading the charge. And then Missouri at 7th-ranked LSU. Kim Mulkey's team and Flau'jae Johnson, Mylasia Fulwiley. An enormous comeback Thursday night at top 20 Ole Miss. Almost shutting out the Rebels in that 4th quarter and a come-from-behind win. After 2 losses against South Carolina and Texas in 3 games, perhaps they have entered another stratosphere down the stretch here in Baton Rouge on the women's side. They'll get Missouri tomorrow. Alabama lead at 7. Philon picks up the infraction here.
You know, Roy, I really would like to see, again, calm things down for LSU and get a good shot. I'd like to see Nwoko get a touch inside here.
And Alabama just a workmanlike approach and has jumped out to this advantage. In spite of a bit of a slow start. Reese in and out. Nwoko crashing the boards.
That's a grown man's rebound. 2 hands going strong with Nwoko. But Nwoko's got to fight a little harder, though, and carve out some territory inside there. You know, again, Reese, you know, went the other way with it, but if he carves out some space, he's able to get an offensive rebound. Good inside out. Reese gets a chance to put up a 3. Reese is being much more aggressive, you know, with more playing time in here.
Second foul on Sherrell. Tigers on the bonus just yet. Sutton against Bol Bowen. Left-handed delivery, no. And Bol Bowen, great box out, secures the rebound.
Missed that shot, but I like that high percentage shot around the basket for LSU.
Well, Holloway wanted to pull the three. Philon thought about it too. LeBaron Philon, easy rim run. First field goal for numeral 0.
You're not gonna shut him out now. He's a guy again that's gonna find a way to impact this ball game from a scoring standpoint. You just got to try to contain him and not let him have one of those crazy nights.
McKinnon. And Nwoko attacking the offensive glass. There's a foul. Amari Allen crashing down. Alabama with a 9-point lead. And LSU being the bonus the rest of the way, but only a minute and 11 seconds remaining.
Nwoko's a grown man in there. That body right there, he's playing big in there right now. I try to reward the big fella and give him a little something in there, give him an opportunity to score the ball. He's getting a chance to go to the foul line right now, but I'd put that ball inside and let it go to work.
Alabama shooting. Tide have now connected on 7 straight field goals. It's starting to feel like the second half of that Arkansas game. Shot 76%. Nwoko, a thank you very much moment against those Arkansas Razorbacks. Look out below with authority. The Mississippi State transfer, a couple of shots at different angles. Shows you the attack, the harm on the rim.
That's vicious right there. Put a cape on the big fella.
Junior out of Toronto via Mississippi State. Big final 60 seconds here. Lead back to 7. Tide have made their last 7. And Allen will shoot 2 more at the line.
Slow on that switch right there on that pick and roll action. They've got to switch a lot quicker than not let him get downhill.
I mean, going back to Fish's question, it would be silly at this point to pick against Florida with what they've done.
We saw Florida. We had Florida a couple weeks ago, and again, I mean,
they won by 47 on the road.
They look as if every bit as good as they were last year. Last year, again, you know, their front line was really good. Their guard play was, you know, was at a very high level. You had 3 guys in the NBA right now, currently, you know, playing on NBA rosters. But as that guard play continues to play at a high level, I mean, on any given night, they can beat anybody.
So I bring it back up to ask you the question, who would be the team in your mind? Is it an Arkansas? Is it an Alabama? Is it a Tennessee? Vanderbilt that could be best positioned to win the SEC tournament in Nashville next month?
Well, you're going to have some, anytime you talk about winning a conference tournament, you're going to have some depth to be able to do it, you know. And so a team that has some depth and can match up with the Florida on that stage has a chance to win it. And you ask me who that would be right now, you know, I don't know if anybody in the SEC has a front line like those guys. Tennessee can match up front line wise, but I don't know if they can pull that off against Florida.
Reese, top of the key, the triple. And Matt McMahon going to utilize a timeout here. And a chance to get perhaps one more shot and hoping for a stop this end of the floor.
Reese has played really, really solid. You see him here being more and more confident that he's with the playing time that he's getting right now. But he's a guy again that's coming on for him. He's, you know, started where he's really solid throughout the first quarter conference play, but now he's looking to be more aggressive and score the basketball.
Tigers in their first 5 SEC league games, respectable 37% from behind the 3-point arc. The last 8, it's been a different story, but tonight they've been significantly better. Trailing Alabama back in the top 25 by just 6 points. We'll see what happens here at the end of the half. I think you answered my question by not answering my question, which is one way to do it.
I went around it right a little bit. I mean, I just look at their front line. I don't think anybody in the SEC has what they have in terms of that interior presence. And when their guards are playing great, they're a really hard team to beat.
I mean, we ask the questions, and sometimes we get the answers, and sometimes we don't. Ronnie, Terry, Roy, Philpott, but I appreciate that because I think a lot of people would agree with you with the way that Florida has played, the improved backcourt, and you know about their length inside. There's few teams in America that can compete with what Todd Golden has pieced together.
He and his staff have done an incredible job building an elite program at Florida.
Logo triple, Holloway off the left side. Nwoko skies for the rebound. And now LSU can attempt the final shot of the half. And you want the big fella to get a touch here. I can tell right now.
I would love for the big fella to get a touch. Great job here by Alabama coming in with the double.
Woko to King. That's an early three, but it goes. Big shot for LSU. One more chance for Alabama. One possession game. Holloway didn't get the shot away. 43-40. Well, the guys were talking about it in studio, Fish and Ron Slay and Dari. Does LSU have the horses to do what it did in the first 20 in the final 20? We're about to find out, but I think that is a valid question. Think about the outcome of this one tonight in Baton Rouge. Phylon, the dump off, Sherrill, easy inside.
Well, I think it all starts with your energy on defense. You got to, they had really good energy in that first half defensively. Great job, Alabama coming out, putting the ball in the paint there with Sherrill scoring a high percentage shot.
Lead is back to 5. Here's Reese, wide open elbow. And a rebound for Phylon. That's significant because Nate Oates wanted his guard to rebound the ball better tonight after securing just 4 boards in his last 2 games. Sherrill is second 3, and Alabama starts the second half in fine fashion.
Well, the big fella scores one close. He's ready to go from outside, ready to shoot it and make a meaningful shot from the perimeter. But Phylon, back to your point in terms of the guards rebounding down, anytime your guards are able to rebound down for you, Roy, they're able to push that ball in transition a lot faster, too. You're able to get up and down that floor.
Well, he was talking to his team via the media yesterday in their session back in Tuscaloosa. And he kind of sarcastically said, well, LeBaron went from 0 rebounds his previous game to 2 in the double overtime thriller against Arkansas. He said he's got to be better than that. We need more. Holloway from deep. And another 3. The lead quickly back to 9.
Can't give any kind of separation like that to Holloway, man. Not the way he's playing and the type of scorer that he is. You got to be right there in his jersey.
Nate Oates said he just has to go get the basketball. He had 10 rebounds against Arizona earlier in the year. He can do it. We need him to do it. A chance for 3 for Sutton. Well, a hot start by Alabama. LSU with a response. A foul inside, and Markel Sutton has played well tonight.
Nwoko's been strong all game long. He's strong hands. They did a great job of trying to swarm in there, really keeping it an opportunity for Sutton to get a chance to get to the free throw line. But I think, Roy, again, LSU had the chance to really have an advantage with their interior play. Nwoko is a guy that has a physical presence in there, and as he continues to get them second chance opportunities, they're gonna be able to stick around this ball game.
Got 8 rebounds tonight. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
As our producer Eric Postman likes to call him. That name could stick if he has a big night. Big Mike. Holloway probing. Holloway. Rare miss inside. Sherrill. Anything but a rare rebound. It'll stay with a tie. Sherrill is a monster when he gets going.
He's a load in there, and Holloway's doing such a great job in working against that drop coverage and really put Reese in jail with an opportunity to score that basketball.
10.6 boards for number 22 in Crimson. Couple of 3s tonight. Holloway past Nwoko. Silky smooth.
Again, he just knows how to play. He plays at a great pace. Reese is chasing him right now, and he's going to have some help, obviously, but he just can't give that kind of separation up. It's good ball pressure right here by Holloway.
There's
great
a
job.
bump and an offensive foul. Holloway was right on top of Jalen Reese. He lowered the shoulder. That was an easy call for this veteran crew.
Well, you got a veteran player here. You got a freshman here. It's good ball pressure, stands its ground, and just kind of baited Reese into that offensive foul. But just again, Holloway's playing like a veteran on offense. He's playing like a veteran on defense, both ends of the floor right now.
They're going to take a look at this. Pat Adams, Alandis Poole, Garrick Shannon.
The call on the floor is a common foul, offensive foul on LSU. The player's under review.
I think, Roy, you have a cylinder there, and I think that's what the LSU team is saying right now, that he can't be in that forward in his space.
That's exactly
That's spot on right
what
there,
they're looking at. Good on you.
I know, not bad, right?
Garrick Shannon raced over here to give us the 4-1-1. They're going to take a look at it.
But as an offensive player, you have your area that you can carve out some space with. If the defender climbs into your cylinder like he is there with Holloway, then you've got to be able to make a basketball play without having an offensive foul. But yeah, I think it was more of a basketball play. Now it's going to be the judgment of the officials to kind of see what they think on. That's why they get paid the big bucks to do what they're doing today, right?
Indeed. We couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. 53-45, just underway to begin our second half in Baton Rouge tonight. And both Pat Adams and Garrick Shannon with Orlando's Poole with the headsets on, and we'll get the official word.
We got a great officiating crew today.
They have been solid.
Yeah, veteran crew, been around, know what they're doing.
So the verdict is in, and it is a cylinder foul.
That's right.
And that will go on Holloway.
After the review, this play is a cylinder foul. The foul will be taken away from LSU number 2, and the foul will be given to red number 2. LSU will have the ball in the front court with 20 seconds on the shot clock.
And the thought there is you have to give the offensive player the inch of real estate necessary to be able to maneuver. And that did not occur. He violated the cylinder. If you think about a cylinder coming from the hardwood up, surrounding the player, he was in that space.
Well, you have to have space to be able to make a basketball play. I mean, even the contact that he made that contact because he didn't have the space to make a basketball play.
So take away the foul on Reese, and it's a common foul on Aiden Holloway. LSU gets possession. We'll see if that's some kind of turning point. And Sutton was hacked by Bo Bowen.
I like the action right there. Again, going right inside. If they can just, again, continue to want to put that ball inside. Great action coming out of the ATO with the LSU bench.
Sutton tonight, 12 points, 3 of 3 at the stripe. And shooting 2. Tigers need every point they can get at the free throw line. Coming up tomorrow, 6 Eastern, 5 Central. We'll have a 3.5-hour best of this week's SEC men's and women's swimming and diving championships. Texas Longhorns are both the men's and women's defending champs. Also remind you they start Monday, 5 Eastern on SEC Network Plus. Coverage all week, culminating in Saturday's finals. Great time of year as we get closer to March Madness. We got softball and baseball underway around the geographic footprint. And some elite teams, including here at LSU for Jay Johnson's team, trying to win it all again as Holloway was contacted by Reese.
Coach Oates really worked Pat on that call over there and stuff. He really wants to get those guys hands off. Too much pressure on Holloway there, and he kind of created that. He wanted that foul.
Good start for the Crimson Tide here in the second half. Back in the top 25. Holloway tracked down by Allen. Holloway was looking up at the rim. He wanted, couldn't do it.
Sherrill was really close to having an offensive foul there on that screen.
There's Amari Allen trying to carve out some space. And a wedgie. Jump ball, and the arrow favors LSU.
Really good defensive possession right there by LSU. That's the energy that they had in the first half defensively. They've got to bottle that up and continue to try to put consecutive stops together on a talented Alabama offensive team.
It's always uncomfortable when the ball gets stuck in between the backboard and the rim, isn't it?
It's a wedgie, man. It's always, it's a tough look.
It's like the ultimate brick.
When you shoot a wedge, you're like, I don't even know how that happened.
Right. Just kind of look around, hope nobody's watching. Sutton rejected by Sherrill. 2-on-1 the other way. Holloway no-look dish inside, and the runner by Allen.
That's where Alabama's at their best, in transition in the open court.
Lead back to 9. Nwoko, jump hook, Sherrill. Another rebound. His 8th.
Like that shot by Big Mike. You know, again, leads the SEC in field goal percentage. You want those high percentage shots by him around the basket.
Whip it around the horn, and Holloway gets it back. Right cell. On McKinnon. Sherrill. LSU hanging on. Down 9. It's a 3-point lead for the Crimson Tide at halftime. Nwoko. Sherrill wouldn't let him do anything.
Really
in the
good
paint.
interior defense by Sherrill.
Coach, LSU getting stops here.
They are. Now they've got to cash in and convert on the other end down here. Get it back in the kind of the tempo that they want to have from an offensive standpoint.
Not a point in the last 2+ minutes. McKinnon will try to change that. Offensive rebound, press 20, McKinnon again, and this time he does. And a prayer to the sky afterwards.
Tomba, great job on the offensive glass. It's a great time to get an open 3 when you get an offensive rebound. McKinnon was able to step right into that shot and knocked it down.
3rd field goal of the night. Struggling to find the rhythm and the range so far. Mari Allen, no issue whatsoever.
Mari Allen's a great looking freshman. He's had a really good freshman campaign for Alabama.
Gatorade Player of the Year in Wisconsin. Out of Green Bay. You mentioned just a freshman. Incredible upside. McKinnon rejected by Sherrill.
Sherrill's giving big time rim protection right now for Alabama.
Still waiting for the under 16 media timeout. Right cell. Sherrill, another board inside, and a chance for 3 for the big man. I don't know if we're going behind the back, if it's no look, if it's a bounce pass, if it's a crafty maneuver around the rim, doesn't matter. Aiden Holloway checks all the boxes tonight here in Baton Rouge tonight. He's got 2 grabs so far in this game against LSU.
Well, when you're a competitor and the coach challenges you to step up on one end of the floor, we know what he does on the offensive end, but when he challenges you to do it on the defensive end, defenses all want to. If you want to do it, you can play some really good defense and be a really good defender.
But can you convince a player who maybe hasn't done that to actually do it for the rest of his season? That's hard. Either you have the DNA or maybe you don't. I'm asking you.
I think it's all about buy-in. I think again, you don't have to be the fastest guy, the most athletic guy. We got a man down right here with Alabama, but it gets down to want to.
Houston Millett on the hardwood. 4th foul by Miller. And they're going to take a look at this. You see Millett right at the free throw line extended, then dropping down. And clearly didn't see him on the turn.
Taken out there a little bit, it doesn't have as much an impact. So I think, again, if the right call was made there and we play on.
Hopefully Houston Millett's okay. He just spun right into that screen. Just a common foul. Crimson Tide back to work. Right cell. Splashes home another triple. Lead at 14, the largest of the game for Alabama.
Roy, Holloway and Fallon, they get a lot of attention as they well deserve. But Reisel, he's put it in the books now. He's a guy that's climbing up almost 1,500 points in his career as well.
7 tonight, Coach. Here's Reese. A little up and under, and retreats on the fadeaway now. And a foul called on Alabama.
The second chance opportunity is keeping LSU in this game. 12 offensive rebounds, now 13 offensive rebounds. It's led to 14 points for LSU.
Phylon picks up his second. Alabama has picked up the pace defensively to open our final 20 minutes. Shot King. Penetrating move.
Great job getting downhill by King, but that was, again, I think that was set up by Big Mike, kind of carving out some space in there, creating a driving lane for him.
Who wants it? Sutton and Reitzel. Both came away with it, and it was Sutton reaching over the back. So his first personal. Take another look at that. That was kind of an unusual play.
Well, you see they're trying to hold a block out here, and they're both going up for the ball now. Reitzel has the inside position, so he creates a foul opportunity on Sutton.
Trell pretty strong going against 6'9", 230. Noah Williamson on the floor for the first time. The former Patriot League Player of the Year, Bucknell. Jaleel Bethea also checking in. Head coach Nate Oates. 12-point advantage, Nwoko. Sends it to the LSU faithful here courtside.
Big Mike's got to try to go score that basketball. He had Williamson right on his back, you know, and gave him an opportunity to have that ball put inside off the bat. He's got to try to go score that.
Williamson, good look inside to Phylon, and the putback. Here comes Jamison. Nwoko stripped on the way up. Reitzel able to get it away. And Nwoko stuck with it. He's going to shoot two. Alabama's made a living at the free throw line tonight. 14 of 15. LSU just 7 of 9. Advantage Crimson Tide and a 14-point lead. Out in the SEC in the Final Four a year ago. Florida appears to be the favorite to get back there this campaign, but in terms of depth, there's no easy outs. And to get 11 teams in the year after you get 14, pretty remarkable.
I mean, just an incredible job again by Garth and Commissioner Sankey, just putting the emphasis on, you know, really being good in basketball in the SEC and making it one of the premier leagues in college basketball.
A couple of free throws for Mike Nwoko. LSU, you posed the question to me during that break. The Tigers have one more run. Try to work this Alabama advantage. We're back in that 5 to 6 point range. We're going to find out here, but it feels like the game is at a breaking point.
It's going to start on the defensive end. They've got to put some stops together.
Aaron Phylon is yet to enter takeover mode. Swipe by Reese. Baseline drive.
Going to have to get some stops without fouling. Put together some consecutive stops. We call it, they're going to need to put some kills together. We call them kills. 3 consecutive stops. They're going to put some of those together a little bit and try to cut into this league and try to turn this game around a little bit.
7 threes in the first half, just 1 so far in the second for LSU. And a breather for Mike Nwoko. Tigers off that 88-85 loss to Texas. Good look on the inbounds and poked out by McKinnon. Jamison thought he had an easy flush.
So really good baseline out of bounds set right here that Nathan runs here. Great slip, paying so much attention to, but they are going out. Got to protect that basket first, though.
Sherrell collects it and lost it between the wickets of King. Saved by Bama. Shot clock down to 5. Phylon. A dribbling demonstration.
So good, Roy. That's a really good body control. Great finish.
And LSU starting to get into track meet mode. That could spell disaster. Bethea no. King saves it. Erase. Lob to Sutton. Helter Skelter. And they're under the basket.
I think the guys got tangled up. Kind of got tangled up a little bit. Now we got a technical foul on both guys here now. Pat Adams going to get this thing under control here. Going to get a technical foul. You see them pushing hard here. Great pass by Reese. Good finish by Sutton. They get tangled up a little bit here. Leads to a little extracurricular there. And again, Pat's going to keep this game under control, so he's going to put a technical foul on both guys.
A little talk about it. Pat Adams, Alinda's pull. And a warning was issued. It's the Alabama bench. After all that, double technical fouls, offsetting. Alabama with possession, leading by 13. Jemison and Sherrill played a two-man game, and now Reitzel. He'll get involved left side of the paint. And tough to grab a rebound. Jemison finally does, and was fouled on the way up.
Well, Roy, you got a small lineup out there right now for LSU, and they're switching everything. And so obviously with the switch, you're going to end up with the mismatch at some point. Alabama did a great job of crashing the glass, but when you go small, you got to still be able to block guys out.
Third foul on Sutton. Jemison shooting two. 61% at the line. Don't forget, our SEC Network Tuesday night men's basketball doubleheader. Otega-Oweh, Kentucky square off against Michi Johnson. South Carolina first at 7 Eastern. Tennessee at Mizzou, 9 o'clock Eastern. Two teams destined for the NCAA tournament. Kentucky right there as well. 0-2 for Jemison, and now LSU gets it back. Rare misses at the line tonight for Alabama. Sutton against Sherrill. This game has turned into a free throw shooting contest in the last 5 minutes.
Well, you had a mismatch there in terms of just the foot speed. Taking him off the dribble was the right play for Sutton, with an opportunity to go to the line for 2 free throws.
Fourth foul on Sherrill. Sutton at the line. As a coach, did you enjoy games that have kind of this herky-jerky motion to it, where there's a lot of free throws, a lot of fouls? It's been physical. Did that allow you to settle in and maybe dictate some things a little bit easier, or would you rather the free flow and let's just get after it?
You like to have the free flow. I mean, as players, they like to have the free flow when they're getting up and down. You don't want the game to be choppy. Sometimes we'll say, hey, you're making this game really choppy right now. You don't want the game to be choppy. You want good flow to the game to where, you know, either the two teams can get after each other defensively, get into a good rhythm on offense, but you don't want it to be choppy where you have to stop and play as well.
I guess I was just looking at that from the end of game perspective. A lot of times where you go offense for defense with the fouls and extending the game. Sometimes maybe if you're an underdog, you're trying to steal a win somehow. That would be one avenue. Lead back to 11.
You can look at LSU right now. They're switching everything with this small lineup.
Bylon, full head of steam, cleared some space. Defense was there. Amari Allen. He'll shoot 2. There's 25 seconds of outstanding defense by LSU. Then Allen makes a play.
I mean, you're looking at these guys again. LSU switching everything. Really good defense, standing his ground with Sutton there. Great closeout with a good high hand there in the gap. Good drive, late call there on the finish. That was a really good defensive possession by LSU.
Third foul on Tamba. Allen shooting 2. Aiden Holloway will check back in for the tie. Aaron Philon Jr. get a break. He hasn't forced it tonight. I mean, he's had moments where he's gotten to the free throw line. After 35 against Arkansas, 2 for 2 for Allen. He's just kind of waiting for his time, it feels like.
You know, when you have guys kind of let the games come to them a little bit, and he's bought into winning. He wants to win at a high level, so it doesn't matter if another guy's the leading scorer in this contest tonight.
Sutton. Taylor Bowen got a piece. And it's back to Bama. Houston Millett back on the floor. We saw him get banged up earlier That's a good sign. And Alabama just going about its business so far. 3-point game at halftime. 13-point lead now. Here goes Holloway again, weaving through traffic in the hook, and an offensive foul.
The right call again. You see again LSU, those guys are doing a great job of switching. Holloway's trying to carve out some space and gets caught with the hook there on Reese. Easy call for the official to make.
Double team of Sutton. Coach, let's go back to the free throw line. Here's the numbers for LeBaron Philon Jr. 6 points so far tonight. And they needed every one of those 35 Wednesday in Tuscaloosa.
You know, Roy, he's really had a great season to this point right now. Last year he played on a veteran team and didn't have to do as much last year from an offensive standpoint. Kind of be a guy to fit in. This year he's the guy that's the engine behind it all. He and Holloway on the perimeter.
Sutton misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Holloway for three. That shot did everything but go in. McKinnon. Reese.
Really good job of getting downhill by LSU on that possession. 2 possessions in the paint.
Reitzel went baseline. Caught in the air. Some contact.
I really like Reitzel's game. Reitzel has an old school game. Really smart IQ, good shot fakes. Just really good, mature game about himself. I really like the way he plays.
4th foul on Tamba. Reitzel at the stray. Women's basketball takes over the SEC network every Sunday. Tomorrow, a triple header headed your way. Alabama at Florida, Mississippi State at 4th-ranked Texas, and Missouri here in Baton Rouge against LSU. Tigers and Flau'jae Johnson off the comeback win in Oxford on Thursday night. Tomorrow, right here on SEC Network, also on the ESPN. This game has been stuck in this window between 9 and 14 points, it feels like, since about the 18-minute mark. Alabama has not taken its foot off the gas and has done just enough to maintain this working advantage. McKinnon well short. Reitzel. Crossover. And swatted out of bounds by Miller. Gets us to the under 8 media timeout.
Emerge, and he's doing that at the right time of the season right now for Alabama.
Out of the timeout, Holloway. And Sutton working against Taylor Bowen. Going to be called for his 4th foul. Alabama now in the double bonus. 18 of 21 at the line tonight for all these fouls. Sutton with his 17 points, and Bowen, Florida State transfer, hasn't been healthy, hasn't been at 100%. And a rebound in 10 minutes against Arkansas, and a 3-pointer in the first half tonight. And we'll get one more free throw.
Bo Bowen is one of those guys that they also need to continue to have merge on that front line. When you talk about teams like Florida in the league, you need that front line guy that can match up with those kind of guys. You know, Sherrell's emerging and doing what he does at a pretty good clip. Need someone else to step up with him as well.
Last out, LSU lead in this contest came with 5:40 remaining in the first half. 27-26. Bama then went on a run. And a 9-point lead with a minute to play in the half. A couple of threes by LSU. Made it unexpectedly close right before the break. McKinnon now 3 of 16. And since the start of the second half, it has been all Crimson Tide.
You know, when your offense is not going the way you want it to go, Roy, you got to try to make some things happen on defense. You got to have a lot of energy. You got to dig in on defense and really try to put some stops together and create some offense for some defense for some offense.
Here's Holloway with a burst. But watching Alabama in person and saw them back in early January with a road win at Vanderbilt, I'm reminded today of just how physically imposing this team is, with how they spread you out, with how Holloway and Philon get around defenders, with the pressure the three-point shooting puts on you. And then you've got this beast in Aiden Sherrell that can do so many different things. Miller's going to foul out here with his 5th foul. And it's going to make them a very tough out. We know that come next month and in Nashville and the March Madness, but I don't think it's a team that's not going to improve even more between now and then. And to me, that's the scary part of it.
No, absolutely. And I think, you know, as you continue to take a step forward defensively as well, where you're able to, I see Holloway in this game having so much better ball pressure up the floor and trying to work on his defense as well. But, you know, you make 13 threes a game. You take over 36 three-point attempts in a game, every game. You know, the next part of that is going to be defending and rebounding. If they're able to do that at a high level, makes them a pretty tough out as well.
You sound like a coach when you start talking about defense and rebounding. Don't forget, Texas A&M heads up to Norman. Buckyball against Porter Moser's team. Nigel Pack. They've had some good wins as of late.
Oklahoma's a dangerous team right now down the stretch. They got some veteran guys that are playing better right now, so it should be a great ball game tonight.
Yeah, the 2 losses, 2 wins, if you want to look at it from that perspective in the SEC. First half of league play, Rashad King banks one in. But Oklahoma's loss at Missouri, where Trent Pierce and Mark Mitchell both made threes, one in regulation, one in overtime. Felt like Oklahoma won that game twice until they didn't. And then LSU's loss right here against Kentucky, where you wonder, like, if those games were to shift somewhat, much more confidence would that have given Matt McMahon's team or Porter Moser's squad. Those were 2 heartbreaking losses for the teams that lost, and 2 incredible comeback wins at the buzzer for Kentucky and Mizzou respectively.
Well, Roy, what it gives you too is it gives you momentum. You know, you get a little confidence. Team gets to feeling good. You have to have a little feel good as well. You get some feel good in those type of scenarios.
Holloway comes up short. Yeah, excuse me. LSU gets a stop. And of course, the thriller that everybody's still talking about from Wednesday. Arkansas and Alabama. Inside out to PJ Carter. Nwoko on the offensive glass. LSU looking for a bucket and a stop, and instead it's an offensive foul. Nwoko called.
It's a tough foul on that get action right there. You know, again, if you stick your hip out there a little bit, it makes it really hard there. But the right idea for Nwoko, you're trying to come and get your guy downhill a little bit, but you just can't. You can't stick your hip out. You can do that a little bit at the next level. You can't do that in college. In college, you know, you can't do that. But at the next level, guys kind of get away with that old hip check a little bit, time to time.
You can't prove intent there. I just felt like he was rotating his body, and it did look to be a hip check as a result, a slight one.
Well, when you do that and you're trying to run like a little get action, you have to try to take the slack out so you're not able to do that.
Allen. Box out by P.J. Carter. Another chance for LSU. Jalen Reese. Foul from behind by Sherrell. And that's going to be his 5th. No, Aiden Sherrill just fouled out. Back-to-back double-doubles. The sophomore from Detroit. And Nate Oates called down to the bench.
You know, Roy, we get to this juncture of the ball game right now. The time is kind of not on LSU's side right now. They're going to have to start trying to think about trying to get some full court pressure, maybe even doing something a little different in the half court defensively to try to get some offense off the defense as well.
Now, LSU tonight, Coach, shooting 35.6%. Went off a game in which Alabama yielded 115 points. Granted, it was in double overtime. It warranted the notification from Nate Oates to his team this week in practice. And at shoot-around this morning, our defense has to be better. Have LSU just 61 and that ice-cold percentage. It's a step in the right direction for the Tide. You know, Sherrill didn't like the call. Reese rolls in the second free throw.
They're going to have to extend this pressure up a little bit right now and try to get these guys sped up. Maybe force some turnovers. Get some offense off your defense right now.
Well, the 5+ minutes without a field goal is somewhat misleading because there's been a lot of free throws during that time frame. Let's see who that was last touched by. It was last grazed by Alabama. Boy, LeBaron Philon Jr. fighting it tonight. You just kind of sense.
He hasn't been able to get into a great flow tonight. You know, you see his pace there. Looked like he got a little travel. Like got away with the travel to begin with. But again, when you're having that kind of night offensively, I think if you get lost defensively playing really hard, you might can turn your things around a little bit on offense.
I mean, a microcosm of his game and evening. It went off of his face out of bounds. LSU cashes in on the other end. And the lead down to 10, approaching 5 to play. Jemison with the response, top of the key.
The big three right there.
And a foul on the other end. Now 8 straight games, Alabama with 10+ made threes. That trend continues. And more importantly, that kind of broke the momentum of LSU again after making a mini run to cut that deficit down to just 10.
Jemison's another good young freshman. You know, you talk about Amari Allen, but Jemison's had some great moments too this year for Alabama as well.
Carter just his 5th made pre-pro this season. Noah Williamson will check in. Let goes out. Noah did have that breakout moment against Kentucky last month. 10 points, 4 rebounds, couple of assists. We haven't seen that same production since. There's the numbers we just gave you. 8 straight with 10 or more threes. Holloway. Reese off the spin. This literally has become a game in the second half where there is a whistle blown on every single possession for both sides. Look, there's contact. It's been physical. You understand why. That's the game we're calling tonight.
And again, Roy, that makes the game really choppy. You know, from a coach's standpoint, from a player standpoint, you can't get in a really good rhythm on either end of the floor because of that.
Holloway picked up his 4th foul. He wants an explanation from Garrett Shannon. Reese will get one more free throw. Both teams in the double bonus.
I mean, LSU is still in striking distance. You know, that again, if they can extend a little bit of pressure up the floor, take some time off the clock, put some consecutive stops together.
46 free throws and counting between these two teams. Lead under 10. Reitzel. His feet taken out from under him.
Got that old man's game. I mean, just high IQ. I go back to Reitzel again. He's got that old man's game and just finds a way to, and has a great knack to score.
Third on King, 2 free throws for Latrell. Coach called him in his press conference yesterday throughout the season. Trelly go to the line. Good to see him healthy. Cal State transfer. He's had his moments this season. 20-plus points on 3 separate occasions. He was kind of like the microwave Vinnie Johnson. He can get hot at any point in time and enter takeover mode, just like his backcourt teammates Aiden Holloway and LeBaron Philon.
You talk about a guy, again, that scored over 1,300 points in his career, so he knows how to put the ball in the basket. But I'm impressed with his pace of play, his IQ, and just that old man savvy ball game that he has on offense.
Do the kids today know who Vinnie Johnson is?
They may not even know who the microwave is. I mean,
oh, my gosh.
Microwave, Baylor guy, Baylor University.
78-68, the dump off, and the layup. Tamba on the reverse. 78-70. Philon baseline. Nwoko picked him up off the switch and stayed with it.
There's that old man game again.
There it is. LSU, the hang-around team, Ronnie, they are finding ways to get to the bucket and make some things happen.
You see Tamba, good, strong finish. LSU hanging around.
We had a fun moment. Their game down at Texas last month. And they had an optional shoot-around 4 hours before tip. We're there just watching. AG comes in his joggers. Buck McMillan wasn't there, and he's just getting up shots, takes off his shirt, and just the whole shoot-around, it was like shirts and skins. Like he's at the YMCA, just getting loose. And he's become a leader for that team, and so much fun to talk to and get to know. And look, Texas A&M's an NCAA tournament team. What else can you say for head coach in his first year? Rashawn Agee has been an absolute pleasure to watch and to cover. Nwoko off the mark. Tide get it back with a 10-point lead. Corner 3. And Nwoko now 11 rebounds and 5 points. Well, the time is now for LSU. They trailed for the last 20 minutes of game time in this one.
Really good set last time down by LSU. Set a screen, let Nwoko try to get downhill, did everything right except the finish.
Jamison will check out. Markel Sutton trots back on the floor, and they got to get somebody out of there. It'll be Nwoko. Reese with 12 points. Timer down to 1. King. Good defense by Alabama. Under 3 minutes to go. This game has lived right on this edge the entire half, and Williamson will find a way to get to the line. Now Alabama coming into tonight with 5 players averaging in double figures. Bit of a surprise. LeBaron Philon Jr., third leading scorer in the SEC, only with 6. But for Nate Oates, look, he doesn't care if it's by 1 or by 50. You just want to get out of here with a win, get on to the next game against Mississippi State on Tuesday night.
And Roy, you know, I think Philon probably feels the same way. I mean, again, he had the 35 points in the last ball game. He would come in here tonight, play solid, play well. But the most important is come away with the win. That's the most important thing.
Defense has been better. Look, you play 2 overtimes in a game like that. You're going to be somewhat gassed afterwards. He took the foot off the gas for practice 2 days later. Even at shoot-around today, That's well designed and well planned by a coach that knows what it takes to win in March. Tamba will force it up and in.
You know, Roy, when you come back at the game like that, where you exhaust so much energy, you go into those overtimes. I mean, you're really the most important guy is your trainer. You see Tamba getting down here with a good 2-foot play. Really good finish by Tamba there. But your most important guy becomes your trainer, your nutritionist person, people that work with you guys on getting their bodies back right in the recovery piece.
Coach, Pablo Tamba with a double-double tonight. 10 points and 12 boards. Off the miss, LSU gets it back. Carter! That's a three! And here we go.
We're not done yet, Roy. They've got to put together a good defensive possession right now with some energy.
Phylon bottled up. 5-point possession for LSU, and the Tigers are back in it. Amari Allen, the answer.
So good. Really good finish by Amari Allen. Get to the rim.
And the pass from Sutton looking for Reese. And it sails out of bounds.
An unfortunate turnover right there. Again, every possession matters right now. And you got to try to get a shot every time up, down for possession.
PJ Carter, unexpected offense tonight. 11 points, 3 trays. Tigers 2 of their last 10 from the floor. Phylon fell down, kept the dribble alive, and jump ball arrow favors Bama. The shot clock remains with 8 seconds here.
Phylon's trying to get downhill, but you got too much traffic in there. You know, a couple guys need to kind of space out to give him some room to work a little bit. I think the coaching staff were on Jimison to kind of get out of the way there. He's kind of clogging things up a little bit for Phylon to get downhill.
Holloway back on the floor with the 4 fouls. 1:50 to go. Aiden picked up by Jalen Reese. Ran out of real estate. Reitzel off the left side. Millette the rebound and a fresh 20. That was enormous.
That's a big rebound right there. You got to keep him off the glass.
Reitzel the pump fake. Carter stuck right there with him. Millette again, and a game-winning play. Back-to-back offensive rebounds. The timeout in midair. Well, that's one way to do it, Houston.
Those are big possessions. You got to be able to finish the possession out defensively. Done a great job guarding. Now you got to block out and hold that block out. You see Millette going strong for 2 big offensive rebounds right now for Alabama.
Coach, it's the energy, too. You saw him clapping his hands emphatically and yelling towards his bench after he made the first rebound there. And then to do it again, to call a timeout to maintain the integrity of the possession.
Boy, it's winning time. Last 4 minutes of the game is winning time. And those are winning plays, extra effort plays. Those are the difference in games.
He wears 95 because 95% of the time you don't have the basketball. What are you doing when you don't have the ball? Well, he retrieved it those 2 occasions. 2 game-winning plays here when Alabama needed it the most. They've held LSU at arm's length away. Plays like that, and a big reason why. Out of the timeout, Allen. Short, and the putback, Jamison.
Second chance points on the rim. The crashes right now from the wing have been big for Alabama.
And a timeout called by Matt McMahon. 1:04 remaining.
And again, down the stretch, if they've come up with some blockouts down the stretch to finish those possessions out, who knows where we could be sitting right now.
The fact we only have 4 games left in league play after these games conclude this evening. What happened to the season? It races by. Carter with 11 points, make it 13. Good play out of the timeout. Another stoppage for LSU here.
You know, Roy, you get into February and the month just flies by. You know, January is a grind. You get into February, it's going to be more about who still wants to play, how much separation are we going to continue to be able to get, and you know, you get the March, man, and it's finishing advance time.
I would say this too, Coach. You know, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. March is almost here, so the grind that you talk about in January that I've referenced here this month, it starts to dissipate because you know what's coming, and the NCAA tournament in the field of 68. Can't get here soon enough. It's going to be wonderful this go around.
Well, Roy, it gets down to who still wants to play, who's still hungry, who still wants to, you know, have a great finish to their season down the stretch. And you want to be playing your best basketball the latter part of the season right now. And again, you see that around the country, the teams that are getting separation, the teams that are really bought in, and they're playing their best basketball right now.
50.6 seconds remaining. Somehow maintained his balance. Only 6 points tonight.
Really good pressure up the floor. Great job, Alabama, attacking the pressure and getting the ball in the right hands to the right guy to make the right play.
Pablo Tamba just fouled out. Phylon with just 6 points. He's been in double figures every game this year. I think you hit the nail on the head. You're just trying to get out of here with a win.
Whatever it takes. You know, you're on the road. Never going to be easy on the road. You got to find a way.
Now Tamba double-double, 10 and 12. The effort was there. One more game coming up tonight here on SEC Network. Texas A&M at Oklahoma. Joe Lunardi has 11 teams in the field. His latest bracketology update, including the heightened Texas Aggies. All smiles for LeBaron. What a week it has been. What a last 3 weeks it's been for the Crimson Tide. He's got 8. And Reese. And now Landis Poole will talk with Pat Adams here.
No quitting the Tigers, man. They're going to keep coming. They're going to keep attacking.
Well, I think they saw something with the clock that they didn't approve of. Race over to the scorer's table. That gives Matt McMahon a chance to talk things over. Nate Oates one more time here.
You get a free timeout right now. Basically, kind of talk your offense, talk your defense right now. For LSU, you got to try to get up.
The clock is going to be reset to 31.7.
If you can't force a turnover, Alabama's got to do a great job of trying to inbound the basketball right now, as well as advance it up the floor without turning it over.
Clock didn't stop on the make. They went back and readjusted that in a timely fashion, I would tell you. Tigers looking for a quick steal, and if not, likely at least one more sequence of fouls. Tide beat the pressure easily. Well done. And there's the contact.
Really good execution right there with the press offense. You know, LSU, you can't fault the effort today. The effort was there. You know, obviously you got to create some breaks and make some things happen, but they were very competitive today against a really good Alabama team that was coming off a big win against Arkansas.
13 points tonight for Latrell Wrightsell Jr. 8 of 9. Make it 9 of 10. Lead back to 10. Shot clock is off. Reese to Sutton. And LSU out of timeouts after Matt McMahon calls his final one. Well, you mentioned it, no quit in those Tigers. Alabama was up to the challenge tonight as this critical stretch gets underway in SEC play. 4 games remaining in the league, and we've talked about it with LSU. Hey, no quit tonight, and it would be a season in which it would be easy to turn away. And if you're a fan of the Tigers, that's exactly what you want to do here. You had a chance at Texas A&M. The Kentucky game, Malachi Marino happens with a full court pass as time expired. Competitive at Arkansas, and that overtime win against South Carolina, and then by 3 the last time out against UT.
Well, I mean, again, Roy, who knows what their season would have taken on in terms of the momentum. I was here and did the Kentucky game, and they played terrific in the Kentucky game. They were up 14. They led for a better part of the ball game, and they lose the game on a last-second shot where really they outplayed Kentucky and deserved to win the ball game, but you don't have anything to show for it.
Kentucky ended up being a different team after that too, did they not?
It could either way. It could have went for either way. And again, the momentum went to the Kentucky side when again LSU totally outplayed those guys here and really deserved to win the ball game.
Tigers out of timeout, 17.7 seconds.
You got to try to face guard here right now and see if you can't get a 5-second call. Turnover without taking any time off the clock.
Big reason for the Alabama victory, productivity at the free throw line. And a jump ball gives it back to LSU. Crimson Tide shooting 83% in a game that has featured 57 free throws. To Sutton, jams it down. 89-83. Jamison fouled quickly by McKinnon.
2-possession game right now. Good quick foul.
Tied in the double bonus. Jamison shooting 61% at the line this year. 0 of 2 tonight.
I think I said it earlier. I really like the 2 young kids that Alabama have. Jamison, freshman, good-looking freshman, along with Amari Allen, 2 really good freshmen for Alabama.
Jamison, the #1 player in Connecticut, 4-star prospect. Ended up at Alabama as opposed to offers from just about everywhere else, including Louisville, Vanderbilt, Syracuse.
He's athletic. He, knows who he is right now in terms of the way he's playing. He's going to be a good young player that I had a chance to develop.
Double checking the time remaining on the game clock here. They have been efficient in that process.
Well, you got some free timeouts for both teams again, real quick. Kind of put it together.
Thought they may have lost a little bit of time off the clock, and Pat Adams confirming that 14.5 is correct. More importantly, the free throws coming Jamison. Bloomfield, Connecticut. Now 0 of 3. To 83. Here's Reese, stolen away. Jamison on the deck, and the jump ball gives it back to Alabama.
A lot of times, Roy, you'll have a free throw play that you'll have, in these type of situations where you want to try to score quickly. but you can't get too deep there. He got too deep there, and they had a great job in the gap. Alabama created a turnover.
Some hustle plays from Millette and Jemison tonight kept LSU at bay. 90-83 will be the final score. 6 wins in a row for Alabama. Longest streak of the season. And the Tigers, with the loss, fall to 14-13, 2-12 in the SEC. For Roddy Terry, I'm Roy Philpott. We say good evening from Baton Rouge. Let's get you back to the studio. SEC Now is right now with Dark.